Hey everyone, it's Kenji, and it is way too hot to cook today, but we're gonna do it anyway. It is freaking hot in Seattle. This is the hottest day in history. I think it's gonna be up to like, I don't even know what it is right now. It's like definitely above 100 right now. I think it's supposed to go up to like 112 or something around here. So when the weather gets like that, we eat a lot of cold things. This dish is a very typical dish that you would eat in Japan. Japan is a very hot country, and on a hot day, you would eat this dish, which is cold somen noodles with dipping sauce. So we're gonna ice the noodles down. The dipping sauce is a very typical. You've seen me make this kind of sauce in many other dishes, but it's made basically with dashi, mirin, and soy sauce. I'm just using hondashi for this, which is this powdered dashi powder. Of course, you can make fresh dashi, or if you have fresh dashi in your fridge, you can use that as well. But I don't, and I'm trying to minimize how much cooking I'm doing. We do have to cook the noodles, so that's the only thing that's going to cook. But to get a head start on that, I'm actually boiling the water in a kettle just so I don't have to have my stove on as much. All right, so we're going to dissolve this dashi powder in cold water. A little bit more water. The ratio I like to use for this kind of dipping sauce is about 80% dashi, about 10 to 15% mirin, which is the sweet rice wine, and then between 5 to 10% of shoyu, Japanese soy sauce. It's really all to taste. We'll mix this up together. Give it a little taste. Yeah, nice. It should be like a nice combination of mainly savory, a little bit salty, a little bit sweet. Now we're actually gonna put just a couple ice cubes in here as well to make sure it's nice and cold. All right, so that water's at a boil. This, by the way, is a dish that also works with, if you don't have somen noodles, well, I'll explain what somen noodles are in a second, but it also works with soba noodles. I'll explain the difference in a second. We've been living in our basement for the last 2 days because it's so hot up here. So that's why the dogs aren't even coming up. All right, so somen noodles are wheat noodles. They are the thinnest kind of Japanese wheat noodles. So thinner than, say, ramen, definitely way thinner than udon, which are kind of the thickest noodles. These are somen, so they're kind of the equivalent of, like angel hair, vermicelli, something like that. Oh, hold on a second. Oops, all right, I apologize. My daughter just came home from swim class and walked through. So anyhow, all right, so wheat noodles, the thinnest kind. The great thing about them on a hot summer day is that they cook in just a couple minutes. So boiling water, gonna get the noodles in there. Get a couple chopsticks, basically just enough to make sure that they don't stick together. I'm gonna give them a couple little pokes and swirls. And these noodles are typically already seasoned with salt, so unlike Italian pasta, where you're going to be salting the water because the dry pasta has no salt in it. These noodles usually are already seasoned with some amount of salt. So you can cook them in just plain water. Plus we're going to be dipping into that pretty salty dipping sauce. So these are somen noodles. You can also do it with soba, which are square buckwheat noodles. You can find those dry in basically any Asian market. But somen, great because they just cook in a couple minutes. All right, so we're just going to get our remaining ingredients ready here. So we got a little knob of ginger. I'm just gonna take the peel off with a spoon, just enough to expose the end. Okay, and then I got this little ginger grater. If you don't have one of these ginger graters, don't worry, you don't need it. You can do this on like the very finest holes of a box grater. You could even do it on a microplane. These ginger graters are nice though because they make the ginger kind of very juicy, and it also doesn't get these fibers. So it gets you that sort of really nice juicy ginger flavor without any of the texture. This is a Japanese ginger grater. Just a little bit of ginger, that's enough. Okay. And then some very thinly sliced scallions. Take the ends off. When I slice scallions, I do what's called a back slice. So a lot of times you'll see chefs instruct you to chop up and, I don't know if you can see it, chop up and down, kind of like this, and kind of push with like your forward stroke. When slicing things that are really delicate, like chives or scallions, I actually like to pull backwards like this and slice on the backstroke, getting as much sort of lateral movement as possible, and that'll give you much sort of cleaner, thinner slices without really crushing. See? And of course, having a sharp knife is good for that too. All right. And by the time I'm done slicing this ginger and scallions, the noodles will be cooked, I'm sure. Okay, that's all done. Noodles, yep, definitely done. Shut those off, get the heat off. We don't want any more heat than necessary today. Get a strainer. And we're just gonna drain these and rinse them in cold, cold water. So we're actually gonna serve these chilled with ice cubes. We want to make sure they're nice and cold first. Oh, here's a quick bonus recipe. The other thing I cooked today, which was a no-cook dish, was a cucumber and yogurt soup. While those noodles finish off draining, I'll show that to you, and I'll tell you quickly how I made it because it took like 5 minutes. So cucumber and yogurt soup. I took a couple of cucumbers, chopped them up, threw them into a blender with equal parts yogurt and milk. Tossed a couple scallions in there, a chili pepper. Actually, this is an Anaheim pepper. A big handful of spinach, a lot of dill, some mint. You can use whatever herbs you have. Dill, mint, parsley, basil, all would be good. And then plenty of salt. And this one I use some Banyuls vinegar, but you can use whatever kind of acid you want. So lime juice would work, or any kind of sort of red wine vinegar, champagne vinegar, anything like that. But you want it to be pretty tart and pretty salty. And then blend it all up and adjust the consistency with more milk if it's too thick. And a big glug of olive oil. And that's it. And it's delicious. Takes 5 minutes to make. All right, so we are ready to serve. Get a little bowl for our broth. So we're going to put that on the side here. This is just a little, this mat is actually specially made for cold noodles like this because it helps water drain down below, but you definitely don't need a special noodle mat to serve these, of course. I just happen to have it. All right, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a few little bundles of cold joy. This is enough for a few people, so this will be one serving, and I'm going to take the rest down to my wife and daughter who are hiding in the relative cool of the basement. Cold noodles. All right. We're going to take some ice cubes. Toss them on top. Keep it nice and cold. And that is what lunch is going to be. So you eat it by picking up some noodles, dipping in the sauce here. Delicious. If you'd like, you can also put some grated wasabi in there. Some people put sliced up omelets. You could also add a whole, egg yolk, something to give it a little more richness, but this is the simplest way. I like it like this. And that's it. All right, guys, gals, non-binary pals, stay cool. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey everyone, it's Kenji. There are 22 million kids in this country that rely on school lunches for nutritious meals. And with schools closed now more than ever, organizations like No Kid Hungry can use their support. So I'm asking you to join me. Click the link in the description below to donate some money. No amount is too small or too big. Thank you very much and stay safe. Bye-bye.